So here we are, welcoming each other into the fall. Balance of light and dark, letting go, accepting impermanence. I think even for all its sort of anxious observation of weather and plant life, all the things we might need to do in our gardens, or maybe the feel in the air. Maybe there's sometimes disappointment that we're headed toward darkness of winter and rain. It's also a philosophical time, I think, devoted to parsing and translating the perennial lesson of our deathwardness, our path in this life. I came upon a book, Robert Otwin, who's the founding editor of the Best American Essay series, and he selected 38 poems by poets that include Robert Bly and Archibald MacLeish and William Butler Yeats, Emily Dickinson, Mary Sarton, Richard Wilbur, and they all chart the rhythms of the seasons of change when the air gets cooler and crisper, the light grows more dim, the leaves blaze with color. That'll be coming pretty soon. And our thoughts turn toward these transient things. And so welcome this morning to our time together. Dare I ask you, Tim, if you have yet another song you might share at the end of our sitting today?
Sure.
Oh, I'm so happy you say yes. Thank you. It's very special. And it's very special that we're here together. It's really nice to see everybody. I'll keep looking here at my screens for a minute. Hi, Bea. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Denise. Hi, Debbie, Francine, Shelley, Linda, Darcy, Susan. Those of you that are on your phones, you don't know that these other people are over here with us together. Barbara, Rebecca, Terry, Ellen, Eileen, hi. David Butler, David G, Dave Mayer. Anyway, if I missed your little square in our circle, know that I know you're there. And we all know you're there. And it's the blessing that we have being here once again, born in this human life and having the experience of seeing clearly the transient nature of things and knowing it directly. I copied out one of those poems in the book. It's just a short one. This is the Robert Otwin book. One of them is called September Pitch. It's by Pamela Steed Hill. And she says, enter autumn as you would a closing door. Quickly, cautiously. Look for something inside that promises color, but be wary of its cast. A desolate reflection, an indelible tint. And also in their one by Carl Sandburg called Autumn Movement. And he sort of laments that no beautiful thing lasts. And there's one more called November Night. Listen with faint, dry sound, like steps of passing ghosts. The leaves, frost crisped, break from trees and fall. It's like in 5 brief lines, she captures the sounds and sights and fading splendor of nature's performance in autumn. And so we have this time of light and darkness in our lives, and those long hot days and summer nights that we really had this summer have passed, and we're in a season of transition. On the autumn equinox, the day and night are of equal length. And so there's a kind of need to balance the lightness and the darkness within us. Most of the time we fear the dark and really adore only the light, but in our mindfulness practice, in our understanding of seeing clearly, we can see what's really arising and use equanimity and find balance. So with that in mind, let's find some balance in our sitting posture, and I'll ring the bell. Let's see, which one did you want me to read the last one again? Let me look, which one was the last one? I think it was the Autumn Movement. No, it was November Light by Adelaide Crapsey. Listen with faint, dry sound, like steps of passing ghosts. The leaves, frost crisped, break from trees and fall. Oh, let's see. Original sound. Same old story, huh? Here we go. Back to the original sound. I won't scream this time. Paying homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Such an honor, such a privilege we have in this lifetime to experience directly the Buddha's teachings. Simple but not easy. And yet we persist. With just the right effort to be present, interested, alert, aware, mindfulness of the four. Awareness, present and arising with whatever object the mind lands on and notices. Whatever is your favorite way of starting your practice, whether it's noticing the senses of hearing far and near, or the touching points, the eyelids, the lips, where you feel pressure at your hands or pressure at the seat, or maybe your feet on the floor, grounding in the body. Relaxing around the eyes and face and just noticing what is present where there's tensions. Noticing the beginning of the breath. We may notice it at the nostrils or at the belly, or fully in the body breathing. And we can make just a slight effort to pay attention naturally, easefully. We may notice the beginning of the breath, the middle of the breath, and the end of the breath. With our eyes slightly open, looking ahead, letting light in, or gently closed, whatever's more comfortable. Once again, noticing as the eyes close that here's another opportunity to notice the darkness, and it becomes less of a challenge for us and more of a place of silent nurturance. Taking the time to look within. Holding ourselves kindly, gently, with joy, gladdening of the heart and mind, that we have moments of awareness and awakening over and over again, that we can string together. Being present, open, perhaps finding spaciousness and finding groundedness in the body. We can use the body as our anchor. If we get too lost in thoughts, we can often just notice when we wake up in that moment. Noticing if something is pleasant or unpleasant, or maybe we can't really tell. Mindfulness is at work there. Awareness is present. And so is wisdom. Noticing when we are going toward unskillful thoughts and cultivating the more skillful ways of holding ourselves in kindness, using effort and investigation just enough to be interested and aware of what's arising and passing away, and seeing clearly, really knowing, being really present, not just thinking about it, being really present with the impermanent nature of what arises and passes away. Gladdening the heart and mind at the awakening of awareness naturally. And not only do we have appreciation for the Buddha and all the Buddhas who went before for discovering this understanding firsthand, we also have gratitude and pay homage to the Dhamma, the teachings, finding the middle way between the extremes. The Buddha's willingness to disseminate the teachings in so many different ways to help accommodate so many different understandings and personalities, giving us the truth to see things clearly. And the Sangha, the importance of sharing the holy life with each other. As you've witnessed here in this group with PIMC for more than a year and a half probably now. And the Sangha of those before us, lay people, monks, nuns, who preserved the teachings, translated them in various ways, and now we translate them in the ways that best work for us. Being present, aware, spacious, and open to what arises, to seeing it clearly. Noticing. Maybe there's density or spaciousness, tingling, warmth, coolness, all of the aggregates that come together that create this being here now in this time frame. And yet we see as we look deeply that none of it is personal. It's not permanent and we can't hang on to it. And that doesn't need it to be a depressing thought, but a joyous thought, because we awaken in each moment to this truth. We awaken each moment in the truth of the present moment. Noticing the beginning and middle and end of whatever arises. And we can notice our relationship to it. What is happening in the mind right now? What is the attitude of the mind right now? We can be aware of sensations, warmth, coolness, roughness, smoothness, density, spaciousness. We can be aware of the elements, fire, the water, the air, the earth. The aggregates that come together. Naturally, easefully, not a lot of effort, relaxed yet open to whatever's arising, being with it. relaxing and being aware. Noticing what may be happening in the body. Noticing intention, if the desire to change positions arises. Just noticing the intention before the movement. And we can even notice the subtlety in the mind as thoughts begin to arise. Or just before we start one of those internal conversations. Noticing as that thought train comes to an end and we wake up to it. Or noticing the temporary nature of the pain in the body that often arises, passes, moves somewhere else. We can also notice the subtle stillness in the body, the calmness in the mind, and just be present, open, aware. reminding ourselves from time to time to come back to the present moment if we are wandering, without judgment or criticism to ourselves, holding ourselves kindly and gently. Returning again, what's happening now? This is the way it is right now. Whatever is happening, this is the way it is right now. Noticing what arises and passes away. Thoughts in the mind, sensations in the body, sensations arriving to each of the sense doors whenever we're noticing them, the way that we receive and interpret, have perceptions around what's happening in our lives comes to us at each of the sense doors. We can notice this while sitting formally, and we can carry it into our daily lives, being present with whatever sense door we're aware of. And as we hold ourselves in this body of awareness, this body that's breathing, the container of so many elements, may we let our attention turn to kindness, to well-wishing, to letting our hearts include ourselves or a friend or a benefactor, whomever you choose. To incline the heart and mind toward kindness, toward compassion. Well-wishing. It can be a thought in the mind, a feeling in the heart. Sometimes just thinking of the word metta or karuna, kindness and compassion. We can let this energy, this development of concentration, to flow to a friend, choosing one, or a benefactor, or choosing ourselves once again. Letting this kindness include this person in our hearts. A felt sense, if possible. You can use your own phrases or the formal phrases of, may I be free from inner and outer harm, safe and protected. May my mind be relaxed, peaceful and tranquil. Or if you're doing it for another person, may you find happiness and the causes of happiness. May you be free from suffering and danger. And we're strengthening this felt sense in ourselves. This circular motion of giving and receiving. May these feelings of well-wishing, kindness flow to someone we don't know, to a neutral person, someone we don't have tangible opinions or feelings about. The random person at the store, or someone who delivered your groceries, or someone crossing the street. One of the all too many homeless folks around these days. Or maybe your attention can include a broader category of neutral people. Those suffering from COVID or various other illnesses. Doctors and nurses working long, hard hours every day, overworked. Healthcare professionals helping people manage these difficult times. Many people in other countries being pushed from their homes or fleeing from oppression. May we hold in our hearts a neutral person or a group of neutral people. Letting this strength include them. And as the Buddha taught the Brahmaviharas to the monks who were fearful in the woods, may these thoughts of kindness help dissipate our own fears, bring light into the darkness, finding equanimity as we discover the truth of our being, letting this kindness flow in all directions, to the north and to the east, to the south and to the west, to all beings everywhere, above and below, that swim, crawl and walk and fly, those beings seen and unseen. Those beings known and unknown, those in joy, those in sorrow, those enlightened and those unenlightened, may all beings everywhere know happiness, know their true nature, be free from inner and outer harm, be safe and protected. And may the goodness, the merit of our practice be of benefit to all beings. Anicca vata sankhara upadavaya domino upakitawa merochanti te samvapasamo sukho. All conditioned things are subject to impermanence, arise and pass away. Seeing this clearly brings the greatest happiness, which is peace. And as you gently begin to open your eyes and notice that you reach for your glasses and for your water, let me close out our sitting session in a short tale about a Zen master, Tokusan, who, when he was still a student, he visited his teacher Ryutan just before sundown. They sat on the floor of Ryutan's hut, casually drinking tea and discussing Zen until deep into the night. And at last, Ryutan said, "Maybe it's about time you went home." Tokusan bowed to his teacher and walked to the door. "It's completely dark outside," he said. Ryutan lit the lantern and said, "Why not take this?" And just as Tokusan was about to take the lamp from his teacher's hands, this is a Zen story, so what do you suppose happened? Ryutan blew out the flame. And Tokusan suddenly knew everything there was to know. He became enlightened when that flame was blown out. Sometimes there's no remedy for our situation than to begin from a point of absolute darkness. Sometimes doing something like turning off the television or putting down our devices, extinguishing a lantern, so to speak, has certain similarities, and it can be abrupt and transition making and can leave us in a different world. In darkness, we are always on our own. And so as the season begins to change, and it gives us an opportunity to change some things about our lives in order to continue our goal toward awakening in the present moment. And we may remember that all around the world today, in many places, like in the Mayan pyramids, at Chichen Itza in Mexico, and at Stonehenge, where people gather for solstices, the Higan Japanese ceremony that gets celebrated for a whole week. And in Burma, there's hot air balloon contests of watching balloons go up into the sky and bringing in the light and excitement of the celebrating of festivals. May we find balance in the turnings of the seasons. Thank you for your practice. And I will